Hello, Namaste, Sasrikal, good evening. Welcome to the next episode of S.S.Chandhok Talk Show. We are here again with the leaders from Pan India, from all the parts of the country. These leaders are not only the leaders, they are the leaders who lead the leaders. These are the people who have worked in the education industry for so many years and they have given their best. They have gone out of the way and have helped the people in the society in many ways. Today, we have gathered over here to discuss about a very interesting topic, that is reading makes great leaders. And of course, we can say that what is the importance of reading? Without wasting any time, I'll introduce you to the first eminent guest, that is Mr. Abhishek Kumar Yadav. Welcome, sir. Sir, is the founder and chairman of Griffins International School, West Bengal. Abhishek, sir, is the founder and chairman of Griffin International School, Kharagpur, West Bengal, and the managing director of Scholars Den, Kharagpur, a unique institute providing excellent coaching for IT, JE, and NEET. He is also a member of the Education Subcommittee of Confederation of Indian Industries, Eastern Region and Executive Committee, Bengal National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He graduated in Chennai Engineering from one of the Premium Institute of India, that is IIT Kharagpur, in 2006. That's great, sir. He worked in Boston, USA before returning to India to serve his country. He has gone strategic leadership for schools for IIM Allahabad. His passion for education has inspired him to study school management and leadership in education from the Harvard University. Griffins International School has received numerous awards in the past 4 years, among them being Top 100 Emerging Brands of India by ABP News Network, International School Award 2018 to 21 by British Council of India, Best School Infrastructure by FICCI sector. Before moving forward, I'll just request that I'm saying sorry to all the eminent guests because your profile is so long that it is very difficult to read all. And because you are over here, that is why you are the best one. All of you had been associated with many national and international level associations, as well as received so many awards on national and international level. And before I will say sorry to everyone, including Abhishek sir. And I'm very pleased that Abhishek sir, you are over here. Please let me tell us, sir, your journey coming as an engineer, how it, instead of going into your profession, you came into education, you had opened up a school and you can open up a premium institute for IT. And I saw around 150 plus students of your institute have also cleared up their IT. I mean, please tell us how did it came into your mind, this idea?
Thank you, sir. I think it is a great honor to be among all these distinguished principals and education leaders. Uh, I think it has been almost, I would say, 12 years after I quit my actual working. I was working in an engineering field. And as they say, I mean, in India, you do anything you want to do after you finish your engineering. So I did start some business because I always wanted to do something more than just a regular job. And so I went into that. And as I was doing that, Kharagpur is my hometown also. I saw that there was a huge requirement for a quality school for the simple reason because I had gone for admission of my son. And I did see the kind of education he was getting and the kind of what comparing to what I got. And I had been, I studied in a residential school in Ooty. And compared to that, I could see a huge difference. And it is a strong belief that the quality of any person he grows up depends on the kind of schooling he gets, because that is where his character, everything else is gets built up. So then I thought it is important for people around this place as well, because everybody cannot send children to this high quality, I mean, residential schools, or maybe even Calcutta, which is around 120 kilometers from here. So why shouldn't we give it up so that these children who are equally hardworking, equally deserving, get a good quality school? So that is how it all started. And around 2016, when it came to my mind, and then we looked for a place, and then we started building it up. And I was clear that I did not want to take up any franchisee because then it would become just a business, and which I think is not going to serve the purpose with which I had the vision to start. And that's how we started. It's been almost 4 5 years we're going to complete. It has been very fulfilling, I would say. I mean, just the beginning of the journey, but we have around 1600 kids, and they are doing well. I mean, they're it is more interesting, when you find some of the girls who are from not, I mean, first generation learners. Now they're able to speak well English. They are getting exposure. They, when they go out, they are able to win competitions. When the parents come and meet you, and that the I would say the positivity that they show, the children, when the kind of confidence they have developed over this period, that is a huge change in their life. And now they
Absolutely.
have an opportunity to achieve. Likewise, I mean, we thought, okay, now it's important to go for proper coaching to these institutions, because as a student myself, I had tough time, getting proper coaching. So I had to drop 1 year, and I had to go to Delhi and then prepare. Now again, I thought these children deserve. A lot of parents said, "Sir, you have studied in IT. Why shouldn't our children get that proper coaching?" And because the rest of the country, if they are doing it and these kids are not doing it, becomes difficult for them to crack the examination. So we started with that also. We are doing well. I'm doing that with a batchmate of mine, Mr. Vivek Thakur. And I think education is only way that can set your life proper. Whether you are rich or poor doesn't matter. If you're rich, you need to still study to manage that. And if you're poor, of course, there's no other way out of life to be well successful. So
That's
that is the
great, sir.
clear vision we started. And one important, I would say, output I want from every child graduating from here is he should be sure what he wants to do in life, right? More or less, and is successful in life. Successful is not monetary. They can choose anything they want, but it shouldn't turn up that a child graduates from Griffins and is not sure what he wants to do in life. And he sees, okay, let me study and let's see where life takes. I think that is not right. We should groom them well enough and to prepare them well. Finally, one more thing I will say, if we want to teach anything to any child, you have to put it in your daily systems. Only then it will come. Because we all celebrate 2nd of October, but still we know how many people speak lies. As simple as that. The simple reason is that because we don't practice it on a daily life. So if you do that, if you want to teach leadership, you have to put that in your daily life. If you want your children to be thinking in a critical fashion, then let your lesson plans have that. Ask your teachers to ask those kind of questions. Then children will start thinking in that fashion. If you want to develop a reading habit, as we are going to speak today, well, there should be a structural support for that, so that children read. Once you do those things, there is no doubt the outcome will come. And teachers need to be supported in that fashion. They need to be given proper training so that they're able to execute these things. Because as management or principal, which is again a position that is part of management, we can make wonderful plans. But if your teachers are not on the, with you, they don't believe in it, they're not trained enough, then you will never get the result. Sir, that's it.
That's great, sir. That's great, sir. Because moral values are more important than education when moral values are there, as you said. And being clearing your IT from, your engineering from IT, still your vision was that I want to go into this, because you might be on at the beginning might be having that sort of strain from the your family also, that you should go for some, because teaching, coming into school and teaching, oh, teaching, no, I won't work. Many children now also, they say that we don't want to go into teaching. It's such a noble profession all over world. Before the politicians, the value is given to the educators, but sorrowful it is that in India, people don't, they are not by choice. They have a force over there. That is also a very, thing to be considered, that education is very important. All the educators, all the IS officers, all the frontline warriors, anything, everyone is there just because of education. The system is there because of education, because we don't only educate the kids, we create moral values in them, that how to behave and how to respect your family, your elders, as well as the nation also. So it is like this, that the mentality of the public, of the children, of the the 21st century kids should be changed, that education is very important and has the same value as other, because without education or without schools or educators, there's nothing over there. Thank you so much, Abhishek sir, and we are very proud because you have come out of the way you had that as concept in your mind that I have to go towards education and provide education to a place. Maybe I think your city is not a very big city, and you thought that these kids cannot go for the IT coachings. You were talking about IT coachings. They cannot go for good schools even to the distance places because they cannot spend so much money. They have so much budget they can pay to the school, but they cannot pay it for the hostels or other things also. So by your opening of schools for there for your school, all the schools can be catered, as well as you opened the IT institute, which is a very big advantage to the kids. It is not commercial actually. You are providing facilities. You are providing facility to the kids that they get best of whatever. So professional people have become because wherever I stay in Kanpur, there's the IT coaching, all the IT coachings over there, but it is just like they are minting money. 1,500 students are sitting together, they are getting it or not, but they are moving thousands and lakhs of students are coming over here. But you as an educator, because you don't have that mind that you have to do business, you have in your mind that I want to give to my society, my kids, at least in my city. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have Anju Mehta ma'am. She is the principal of DCG International School, Rajpura, Punjab. As an experienced educator, she strongly believes that one can leave behind a rich legacy of students who stand tall in society. She has worked in the education sector for over 28 years, and she is skilled in communication, team building, interpersonal skills, education leadership, and leadership. As a pedagogical leader, she believes that by continuously engaging in learning ourselves, we provide a nurturing space for our students. She's a strong votary in collaborating learning, which she feels is the need of the hour. She is an adept at planning and organizing and creating a safe and healthy ecosystem for those under our care. She has worked in some of the most prestigious institutions. She has also mentored various government and private schools of Chandigarh under soft skill training. She has also had the pleasure to hold sessions on communication skills for the students at Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh. She has been facilitated by the Government of India as well as different platforms. Again, ma'am's also resume is so big and she has done such a, being an educationist, she has worked up with many institutions. She has worked up with many government and non-government associations to the college level, to the school level, to the primary level, to the outer skirts. So she has worked with. Ma'am, we'll just like to know about your education journey from yourself only.
Sir, I think you've almost kind of encapsulated whatever little bit we could do in the education sector. And the very purpose is that I would say that, like you said, that not many people would want to come into the education sector, unfortunately. That is for all the obvious reasons. You can see how the COVID, teachers have acted as COVID warriors. And somehow I feel that we talk more and, on the as far as the ground reality is concerned, most of the teachers are still struggling, to get that kind of respect that is required. And sometimes I feel that we are doing our best, but, the bodies that matter, they do act hypocritically. So I think that answers most of the yeah, the reason why children do not opt for teaching as a career. It has to be made very, very respectable. When it and personally, I also feel like, we've got IS examinations, we've got UPSC examinations. Let education also be a sector where there is a centralized examination, and it would, I think, garner the best of the talents from all over. And when you have the best of the talents, let it be kind of, kind of like financially remunerated also, because I think that also somehow in India kind of elevates the status of the person who is into this education field. But having said that, yes, I did start from being a teacher, and now on the other side of the table, yes, it's been an amazing journey. But I've always believed, like you did say, that the only mantra that you have in this sector is to learn and to keep upskilling yourself. Because if you become kind of static in your approach to education, you're going to become history very soon. So you have to keep evolving, and when you do that, you're taking your entire team along with you. And I think it's very important that you have a faculty that is passionate to pursue excellence, at any point of time. They're enthused and energized to learn things, because in today's times, if you've seen the kind of VUCA world that we are living in, uncertainty is going to be the part and parcel of our life. So if we kind of like encourage our kids to build on those skills as mentors, as teachers, as educators, to cope with the harsh realities of life. I think we've done our bit. It really pains me, sir, when I see a lot of youngsters who give up on life so quickly. It's, as an educator, somehow I feel we failed them somewhere. Because, if they can give up so easily on their life, I feel there is a big lacuna that needs to be addressed. And my journey is been for almost like now almost touching 3 decades. But I am praying and wishing that it goes on, become like I keep touching people in a positive manner, in a productive manner, and somehow that impact is kind of like a ripple effect, and it carries on to other people around. So that's about my journey. And as of now, yes, I am
That's great,
presiding as
ma'am.
principal, and it's been a wonderful journey. Yes, thank you, sir.
Ma'am, that's great, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. And we do not grow above 18 because we are always with the kids of age of
I know.
33 to 18.
Yes.
My
Yes.
25 years back, my principal also said to me that I'm not 60, I'm not near about 60. I am 18 only because we are with the kids and we have
Absolutely.
that
Yes.
mental level. We have to keep and we have that mental level because
As
you
a
will
matter of fact, it's the best profession you can be.
yeah,
It
yeah,
keeps you
and
young.
you will always
Yeah.
stay young. You will stay young with this
Yes.
profession.
Yes. True. True that.
That's great. That's great, ma'am. Thank you so much and welcome, ma'am. Next, we have Shija Pierre, ma'am. She is principal of SNS Academy, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Ma'am is the principal of the SNS, the Fingerprint International School. She's an expert public speaker, excels in the field of curriculum development and educational technology. She has post-graduation in economics, English, and education. That's great. After serving in designation of principals of 10 years, now leads SNS Academy. It is an institute which has set certain standards in public schooling in the ever-changing dynamic world of education. S&S Academy is a dynamic institution which demands excellence, competency, hard work, and to provide scope of growth for career and personality of students. She's a master trainer of CBC, CUA, CBSC, and new academic reforms, classroom management, gender sensitivity, and life skills teaching, and conducted many workshops of approximately 25 for school teachers on CCE, documentation, and SS teaching, gender sensitivity, classroom management, evidence gathering, and post-scholastic training, etc. She has worked as an inspection team committee member for affiliation and up to graduation of CRSC schools in Kerala and Karnataka. She is certified instructor in spoken English, trained by Trinity College, London. Awards received Dynamic Principles Award for Rotary Club, and many awards again ma'am has received, which will be very difficult to speak about because it's a long list of her also. We welcome you, ma'am, but we like to know about your journey about SNS Academy only, how you are taking over the school, being a principal and now holding the whole school, how you're doing that, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. S.S. Chandhok. And this is a wonderful forum where we can get a lot of innovative educators and understand each other. And while talking about me, I'm basically from Kerala. And from there, I have started my journey of education as a student and still continuing as a student, everyday learning. And it is really a remarkable journey. After reaching to SNS Academy, I think we have learned a lot, because recently we have started 2 years back, we were starting a design thinking curriculum where we have restructured the curriculum exactly and made the children as creative and critical thinkers. And as rightly our first speaker was telling, that we were trying to inculcate the habit of creative thinking and critical thinking in our daily lesson plans, and still that study is going on. So around 23 years, I'm there in the education field, supporting the students, teachers, parents, and other stakeholders. For past 10 years, I'm happily there in Tamil Nadu with a lot of creative people. And this design thinking curriculum really gives us a lot of happiness, because it gives us a room for creating the creativity in the children. So that is really a wonderful opportunity where I'm really happy to go ahead.
That's great, ma'am. That's great. Welcome, ma'am. Because it is saying that do a job you love and you will never have to work a day in a life. So when you're talking about something interesting, so you feel good about that. I have interest in that. I'm doing up with the students and the school like this. You will feel very comfortable with the students. That's great, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Next, we have Dr. Anupa Saxena, ma'am, Principal Gargi Girls Schools, Meerut. Ma'am has been an integral part of the education industry for over 29 years. She is a graduate and postgraduate in English literature from Karodimal College, Delhi University. She is also a graduate in education in English and special English. She has recently been honored with an honorary DLET degree from the University of Nepal. She started her career as PGT English in 1993 at St. Andrew Scott Senior Secondary School, New Delhi, where she worked for over 15 years and left that school to be a founder principal of Webgyor International School, Ghaziabad. She then took up the challenge of running an ICSE school at Gurugram, late Atul Kataria Memorial School, and took it to the next level. Then she had the task of establishing an exclusive MI-based schools at a rural location called Naziabad, with a tender heart and strong determination to work for the betterment of girls. In the year 2012, she joined an all-girls schools at Meerut Gargi Girls Schools, and within her grit and dedication has made it one of the most celebrated school in own kind. She is also a student teacher and principal trainer for ELT, phonetics, multiple intelligence, personality development, motivation, curriculum development, effective questioning, activity-based teaching, paper setting, etc. She is also a CBSE master trainer for CCE, core scholastic skills, life skills, gender sensitization, AEP, classroom management, capacity building program for English 10th and 12th, remodeled assessment value evaluation, Bloom's taxonomy, CVP on secondary schools assessment, pan India and abroad, and a resource person for ASL and assessment and relation. Ma'am, I have got tired reading and reading. Ma'am, have you left anything or not? Because you had been so many schools at so many places and you have so many things. I mean, are you working there for 24 hours or you have a 48 hours day? How you're working with that, ma'am? I'm so sorry, man, I've got tired. Please tell about yourself, about your journey coming from those schools from Ghaziabad and all that places coming up to this Gargi Girls School, ma'am. Please. Ma'am, you're muted. Ma'am, you're muted.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It indeed is a wonderful pleasure talking and listening to such masters. Thank you very much for providing me a space here. As far as I'm concerned in my journey, yes, it has been. I began my career in 1990. It's going to be 32 years, and it has come a long way. For past 10 years, I am with Gaki Girls. First 15 years were with St. Andrews, and in between, due to certain reasons, I had to go. I'm presumably a more static and kind of a person. I would not like to change my job. Uh, but yes, one of the opportunities took me to Nazibabad, and that was to prepare a curriculum, especially on
I think there is some technical glitch, might be coming back.
I hope some glitch somewhere, sir.
Yes or
But
no issues now.
I have been a part and parcel of CBSE and its planning curriculum. I'm working for Open School and IGNOU curriculum development program also. Uh, yes, this place I really liked it. Why? Because I really wanted to do something for the girls' education, and I felt that girls were not given the kind of opportunity they should get. And working here night and day, I've been an innovator, and you know, uh, I have always been experimenting uh, with my teaching and learning methodology.
Ma'am, you are muted again.
And be sorry, as I said, that there's a lot of trouble somewhere. And I have been working for it, and I have been into experimental teaching. The latest, your topic encouraged me a lot. I was really very enthusiastic to get into it because as a language teacher, I have always felt that reading is the first thing. When we talk of 3 hours, reading, writing, arithmetic, reading comes first. And I have always been told that, reading, you become what you read. So this was the topic that, and believe me, I have been a firm believer of it. And we have a dear period for every subject every week. Dear is drop everything and read. The child is supposed to bring, if it is a DO period for science, the child will be getting any of the science material, whatever they like. They would read it, and we have created reading cards, and we work a lot for it. Uh, we have been into experimental teaching. I was, in fact, in the committee when we started this art integrated teaching, and I started with the musical teaching of all these subjects. You know, you won't believe, perhaps the entire school has learned its periodical table through music because our music teacher has been able to put it into singing way. All the principles, all the mathematical principles, all the stories, each and everything. Because change, as ma'am said, we need to evolve as teachers. We have to learn, unlearn, in fact, unlearn and relearn about things. For of course, change is the only constant, and those who do not change, they extinct. So
That's
this
great,
is what
ma'am.
I have been into. I have been into experimental teaching. I have been into experimental learning processes. I'm right now also I am involved into making this. CBSE is coming up with these novels, comic novel strips, and we are writing it. We are in the
That's great, ma'am.
forefront. We'll be receiving it from next session. These are, we have prepared somewhere around 4, 5 comic strips for CBSE. And this is what we have been into. And I
That's
believe
great, ma'am.
that children, teachers, everybody, they need to have this platform uh, more and more often. They need to talk, they need to read and talk. We have, perhaps as for this reading, we have our own kitties, and these kitties are reading kitties. Where
Okay.
we pool in money, we buy books, and each and everybody is supposed to read this book departmental wise and hold their own kitties. So it is their reading kitty parties we hold. I mean, this is what I feel is really more important than wasting your energies or wasting your time. At least for this, or for past 3 years, our school has been receiving CBSE National Award. I mean, to begin with, it was our music teacher who earned it for all her integrated practices. Last year, I was able to earn it because of some of these practices. And this year again, we have one of our art teachers who is going to earn it for this only. So, I believe that innovation is the only thing, is the only way out. And for that, what is required is a quality time, a time that we provide our girls. We let their roots be there. We celebrate all the festivals. We make them understand that it is important to bridge. It's really important to bridge tradition and technology, and to be quiet, the basic values that a human needs to have. As ma'am said, that it's really very disheartening to find many of the youngsters giving up on their lives, making a permanent uh, closure for a temporary problem. This is something that I believe that all of us have to look into. This is something that I believe that education, the only purpose of education is to create autonomous learners, autonomous creators, I would rather say, who are whose feet are deep into the roots, and who have their wings to fly. That's it, sir. Thank you.
That's great, ma'am. And you're doing so wonderful job because we know everyone knows that in India, people usually feel, maximum people, they feel that boys should be educated and girls should not be educated. They are only meant for, growing up and getting married and going up, doing the household work only. But that sort of thing has to be removed. And I think that was only your vision coming up to the school to inculcate all these type of things. I mean, good things into the girls that they should grow and they should tell. This is because of the educationists or leaders like you that the girls are not doing so wonderful in every trade where the boys are there. They are equivalent, or I should say, yeah, they're doing better than the boys over there. Welcome,
Sir, we
ma'am.
have been running, you won't believe, our girls have been going into the untrodden areas. They are boxers, national level boxers. They have been able to defeat boys in their, this uh, rock band. They have been defeating them every year. Uh, in their rock bands, they have become CAs. They are running a company. We run a company in our own school, which is run by the children, by these girls only. From collecting the idea, collecting the money, manufacturing, and then putting it forward. So we
Great.
have been taking our girls to any and every field, and we really, if you ever come, we have a wall of fame for our girls who have been doing it so wonderful.
That's great, man. That's great. And it's just because of the leaders like you. It is their principles come over and move out, but it is because of the leader. If the leader is good, they will do everything apart from that, because you are going out of your, out of the box, what we say. You are not only teaching them, or you're not only giving them education. Apart, every schools give values also, but when you are giving them exposure, you are sending them everywhere. That is just because of the leader. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. Thank you so much. Next, we have Suchitra ma'am from Club 1 BR. She's a community manager with Club 1 BR. The program is actually Club 1 Billion Reader. She holds a master degree in English literature, and she had been working somewhere, but her interest towards, reading and this communication brought her into this field. And Chitra ma'am, you yourself tell us what this actually about yourself, how you came into Club 1 BR as a community manager, and what was your interest with this?
Thank you, Chandok sir. First of all, I want to say I'm very honored to be on this panel with such distinguished principals. I'm a little bit nervous also right now, but I did my masters in literature and then sort of took a detour into banking and financial services. I spent about 10 years there before realizing that it was not something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I joined Stones to Milestones to pursue my passion for writing and reading. I've been a bookworm since childhood. I was initially a chatterbox, and then my parents figured out that putting a book into my hand was the best way to keep me quiet for extended periods of time. So I've spent lots of train journeys with bargaining over how many books I get for the duration of the journey and all that. So uh, for me to join this the Club 1BR program was primarily because I really believe that it's a program that can really make a difference for children. I'm a parent myself, and when we were young, we naturally gravitated towards books and reading because it was one of the few hobbies that was open to us and that parents approved of. So we didn't have to ask or justify why we wanted a new book. We got a new book, but now I feel that the children have so many options available. Even if you put a Kindle in front of them, it is still like, oh, so much text, so many words. What is all this? Why do we need to do this? And I feel like they're missing out on a lot by not getting into that habit. So when we as a team, when we were told that this is a program that we're going to start, I sort of jumped into the program immediately because I really feel like a lot of what I am today is because I'm a reader. A lot of what I know today is because I read so much as a child. I still try to read a little bit every day, but so I think it's something that we should share with the children. So yes,
That's great, man. That's
thank you,
great,
sir.
ma'am. You should do your work again. The same thing that you should do a job you love. So that is whenever you have interest, you should do that job only. And because you are into your own favorite things, like Abhishek sir is also in his favorite thing. He was not comfortable, I think, for a few years when he had to work out somewhere after doing IT. So when he came back and he started doing with his project, I think, sir, then you feel comfortable, and it, on you can we can see on your face also that you are feeling so happy and so proud of doing all this what you have done, sir. And basically, when we are talking today about reading, so reading out of LSRW, reading is the most important thing. We know very well as educators that with reading we can bring up so much changes in the kids. So let's start up with the small questions round. We'll take 2 minutes of all the panelists to speak about that. First, I'll come to Abhishek, sir, to you. We just like to know your views. That is reading really essential for academic excellence?
Uh, I think, I mean, essential is a small word, I would say. Rather, it is critical. I mean, there can never be any academic excellence without reading. That is how we should put it up. Because you need knowledge, right? You need critical thinking. You need have good concentration. You need to be able to see through things. All those things develop through reading. That is the main thing. The kind of variety of subjects you read, the kind of information you can get, the thought process you are able to develop. So, I mean, there is no doubt in my mind. And if I go at the very beginning itself, in the pre-primary stages, that is where it becomes foremost that you develop these basic language skills. You want to become an engineer, scientist, rocket scientist, or anything in the world you want to become. But if you don't have those very basic skills, what is happening is that, see, gone are the days when children would study out of fear of any parent. That was, I would say, 2 generations back, maybe in my generation. Now it is completely different. You have to have interest of the child, only then he will study or she will study. And always remember, if the children are not able to understand anything, their interest goes down completely. And then it is a downhill path from that. So only way to ensure that children have sustained interest in all subjects, it is all the STEM subjects as well, I would say, is to have good reading skill. That is the foremost, because you gather so much information, so much knowledge, and you learn what to do and what not to do also. That is also very important, right? Internet is available, but the challenge with internet is that huge information is available. You don't know what is right, what is wrong. With curated books, age appropriate books, you get information what is appropriate as per your age, your interest is sustained, and in the long run you develop interest in other subjects as well. So I am absolutely very clear that basic language skills along with maths, these are the two basic skills which children have to develop to even think of anything else if they want to do in life.
That's great, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable suggestions. I'm pretty sure that people who will look into this episode will understand the value of reading, sir. Thank you so much. Anju ma'am, will you please like to add something into this, that is reading essential for academic excellence? Ma'am, you are muted. Achha, I'll put that.
Right. Thank you, sir. So I would definitely second what Abhishek sir said. I think absolutely reading is critical, and especially for all children, who are in the stages of growing up and developing. And I personally also feel I would absolutely like to endorse what Suchitra also said, because what she said was perhaps kind of the story of my childhood. We would, bargain with our parents, how many books you're going to give us, how many, and we used to read like, in a day, one book completed one day. It was like that. So yes, and I think that did make a difference in our life. And I'm sure anybody who reads gets such an ambit of thought process and, a kind of perspective in life that is so very essential to build up on the competencies. And when we talk about, everybody's talking about the 21st century skills, but I think reading does give you, a kind of knack to build up on your creative and critical thinking. You automatically get to know what is like, or how to put across things, or how to write good things, because if you're reading well, you're writing well. And when you're writing well, you're also like, very careful about your vocabulary, your speaking. And all said and done, like, I think this is perhaps one literacy skill that can, sustain other domains of our education sector, all other domains of learning. And when we say that, so like if this caters to all domains, and in the process, the entire country gets a little more wiser. And even the NEP and the CBSE are very, very emphatic about how FLN, or foundational literacy and numeracy skills, have to be built up, and till the year 2025. And I think it's a good thing, because even if schools are doing it, there are a lot many other schools who might not be doing it seriously. So when you're kind of like, stocking your libraries with good books, like Sir said, curated books, yes, books that would really kind of impact the children. So they are the ones who can, those books can foster an interest in the children. And as CBSE says, when you learn to read, you are kind of, investing in a skill that would make you read to learn. So this is very important again. Then another point that I would like to also say, it's not only for the small children or the youngsters, that it's not a hobby for the kids only, because as the child goes in the higher classes, the content becomes a little complex. It becomes a little more, I would say, that requires a little more in-depth understanding. So if you know how to kind of analyze that, that can only happen if you have the knowledge and the kind of range to gauge what is it that you have to comprehend from that, passages. And I think for all competitions today, English is such an important part, and languages per se are very important even for communication skills. Sadly, I was actually going through some data, and it said that 97% of our children, around the age group of 6 to 14, they are going to school, yet the learning kind of levels that they have are so alarmingly low that it can again put a big question mark on the kind of methodologies that we are adopting. Because, I would say that in the present times, in the present system of education that we are in, it's more focused on, head heavy centric kind of academics. So it's like there's a rat race to complete your syllabus rather than, building up on the competencies. It's very important to read. And as ma'am said that they have a kind of a reading kitty, that's a wonderful idea, as a matter of fact. So something on that line can be, thought, because if you have teachers in faculty who are into reading, I think they can automatically let that passion of reading go down to the kids. And that learning crisis that we see even in today's kids in the present scenario, where, about class 3 students can't even read class 2 textbooks. Now that's something that needs a lot of pondering. So without this basic skill, the very benefit that the education system can give us, or the education can give us, is going to be very futile. So I personally feel that we have to bridge up this learning gap, and whatever the CBSE or the different boards they are doing via kind of reading challenges or the reading quiz, or they're very, very important, because they're all prerequisite to improving the overall performances of the students. And we have to make it a priority, that goes without saying. But when I say that it's going to be a priority, it's not that people are not doing it now, but it's just that they need to know how to go about it. That's it. How they're going about with the kids, teaching, and if you remember, I just said it, that we need to give a little more respect to teaching profession. So when we take in any and every person as a teacher, and they are not able to give in their 100% in the very foundational years, it's going to impact the children in wrong way. You need to develop that passion. If you're yourself passionate, somehow I don't see that the kids won't be taking up this as a habit. So yeah, if you want to see that the country's levels of learning and reading is going to improvise, then we have to kind of inculcate this habit of reading as an investment, because it's going to pay the highest returns end of the day.
Yes, ma'am. That's great, ma'am, because you're absolutely right. There are many children, many children who are not able to read even. They can't read properly if they say them to read. Many parents also say like, my son ko wo to English bol leta hai, usko reading karne ki kya zarurat hai? Because reading is so much important. With reading, your speaking also, your listening, every ability increases. So here the thing with outcomes with with all the discussions is that reading is very important, especially at the primary level, although it is needed at all the levels. But the thing is, the root has to be put somewhere. If the root has been, because many of our teachers, they are not good readers. To be very frank, they are not readers.
Very true.
If we are coming, we are in a little, not a very big city even. So we see that teachers have not had been the good readers. So it doesn't mean the teachers are not good readers. They will not do this with the children also. So the basic thing which comes on us is that we have to put something into them. There should be a mechanism where the teacher should be, it is also there. I mean, I feel that I think you will second with my opinion that we say something to the teachers when you're
Yes.
monitoring, they're doing everything, and when you are there with some other work, they'll stop doing that.
Yeah.
You didn't said it again, sir. Do this has to be said again and again. So
Yes.
we just when came into this, we have an idea that there should be a mechanism because reading is very important. As I told you all that we are not coming up with the discussions of any topics which are already there have been talked many times. We're talking about the practical things, the problems which we are facing. Because the parents, when they are giving the fees of the child, they only feel that we have given the fees of the child, everything is on the school. So if they are sending it, तो मेरे बच्चे को पढ़ाई आती हो ना, उसको इंग्लिश बोलना आना चाहिए.
Absolutely.
It's not about English reading only. It's not about reading. Of course, it's an international language. English is important, but reading habit is not over there. The critical thinking is not over there amongst the children. So it becomes very difficult. So there should be a mechanism where the teachers should be, in that mechanism that they should not stop putting this habit into the kids. There was a
Come in,
principle.
sir, once on this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think, see, parents' perception, let us understand. They say we want our child to speak. I think it's a lot to do with what the society expects. That is one thing. That is why they have not been able to speak English and they want their children to do that. And I think as educators, we should also put across and inform them the importance of reading. Because a lot of times they themselves are not aware of this fact. They don't understand. And they judge on the basis of what is visible to them. So I think once we start pushing and informing that, see, this is going to be very, very important. I think it will take time, of course, but I think it will improve a lot, right?
Yes.
Just like I would just deviate for a fraction on the marks. I mean, board marks are a big thing for every school and every, I would say, parent also. And the reason is that because parents have that parameter only to measure. If there are other parameters which are independently verifiable, I think focus would shift away from the board marks and go towards other things. So that would be one.
I'm very sorry, but I have an argument with this because marks are also very important. Because if you don't have 95 plus or 97%, you won't get admission in DU. Here we are only
So
saying.
that's a tragedy.
I'm not saying.
That's a tragedy of our times.
100% is not guaranteed in DU.
Yes, sir. At one side, I'm also one of them. On one side, including me, we are saying that marks are not important. At the very same time, if you are not having 99, 98%, 97%, you won't get admission in DU. So when we are coming up with an EP or anything, these type of things should be removed. The caliber of the child, the potential. We had been seeing that an average child in the school does a very good in his future. We had seen many incidents, many incidents that yesterday thing, I think we were talking about Albert Einstein. So he failed, his report card was there that he has failed, he's not fit for the school, he had been removed from there. So many pressure we have. At the very same time, what I'm trying to talk about is that all of us, we have so much pressure also. At the very same time, in that rat race, the parents are also there. That my child is in grade 5, he has to become engineer. Aren't let him live because he feel the pressure of the education. So whatever he is going to do in the future, good. Parents they come in pre-primary, they say us, आप लोगों के स्कूल में तो होमवर्क ही नहीं देते हैं, हमको स्कूल में तो वो होमवर्क मिलता है, वो मिलता है. CBSE, at least CBSE says that till grade 2 you don't have to give any homework because the pressure should not be there as well. Because the pressure will not be there, then he'll be able to grow. So there you have to manipulate that according to the situation. So we say to the teachers, give them the homework what thoroughly they have done or very well they have done in the school. Don't give them a new thing. आपने कैसा कराया? बच्चे को तो आता ही नहीं घर में आके, आप तो कहते हो मैंने सब कुछ करा दिया. So this way or that way they don't need. So you have to manipulate yourself. So here also what everybody feels, and when I had started up with the reading sessions, so I thought that reading is the base. If we do up with the reading, parents will cooperate, everybody will cooperate. When the reading habit will be there in the child, of course the child will do well. All our problems will get solved. Almost many of the problems will get solved when they're reading. But that should be in the pre-primary and primary levels. So because when the children they grow up, they have the pressure of the studies as well as they don't take interest. They are not in our hands. Because basically in primary and pre-primary, they are in the hands of the teachers more than the parents. So this is about this session also. We'll talk further. Thank you so much, sir.
So the
Then
one good thing is, if I may just add one more thing, that
Yes, ma'am.
the NEP has also talked about not kind of like the removing of the silos in the education sector. So that's again a very good thing, because I think it's like a promissory note, you are going to wait how it is implemented on the ground reality. But the thing is
Yes,
that you
ma'am.
have multiple ways of assessment. So I, for sure, in my school is emphasizing more on the reading, and I'm like, kind of it's becoming more of something that they should love to do. So pick up a book you like, read whatever you like, and we can, find or devise ways by which that reading can be assessed. So I think, when you have the free time, tell them to carry the storybooks, let them read that, and they can pick up any book that they want.
But ma'am, again, ma'am, again, I have one thing to say upon this also. Please, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
No worries.
Because being an educator, as a principal, also as a teacher, also I'll say that I'm basically a teacher. That when we are talking about NEP, we are talking about pan India. We are in cities, so we are able to get every facility, and we are trying. And this much of level the parents have. But India is a agriculture country with more than 550 villages. There has to be done pan India. CC
Yes,
pattern
it is.
also came in. CC
Yeah.
pattern was somewhat like NEP only, but it failed because it was not being done sincerely, or whatever way it was being done, it was, I mean, it failed. So
Yeah.
here also, when NEP will come or anything come, the big branded schools, they are doing this from whatever, then more than half of the things what are there in NEP already, the schools
Exactly.
are doing it. They are giving time to the kids, be on the ground, don't come into the classes, one of these medals, although they are doing it कि हमारे स्कूल का नाम होगा कि हम हर जगह आर्टिकल डालेंगे, हमारे स्कूल का नाम होगा, we'll get admissions. But what about those B category, B and C category schools? Those schools who are in villages, maybe private schools or maybe government schools. So here NEP will has many good things, many good things, but there are certain things which have to be kept in mind. How can we come up with so many subjects in a medium class school, in a low paid fees school? कि कुछ भी सब्जेक्ट दे दो, 30 40 50 60 70 70 subjects are there, any subject you can choose. Where will you get the teachers? So practically, but we'll be able to outcome with them. Whenever a new thing comes, it takes a little time, but we'll outcome with them, and 100% the children will be benefited. There may be a little disturbance in the first year, probably, but all of us feel that then from the second year at least, everything will be on level. Whatever these type of little problems are there, because pros and cons are there, but pros are more because benefits are more, and difficulties are less. So that will be outcome by the government also, that what changes to it. But remarkable changes they are making. Thank you, Anju ma'am. That was wonderful talking to you. Then I'll come to Shija ma'am. We have the next question with you. How does reading impact a person's leadership skills?
It's a wonderful question, Chandok sir. Actually, reading is a complete. We all have some branches back.
I think, ma'am, there is some problem network over there.
Is it so?
You're visible, but your voice is cracking, ma'am. No issues, ma'am. Please.
Let me. Yeah, please. 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
It is better now?
No, ma'am, it is not better. Because of rain and thunderstorm everywhere, there's a problem of internet problem, ma'am. Yesterday also, and today also, and yesterday also in session we were having that problem. No issues, ma'am. Please carry on.
Now?
Yes, ma'am, you're little audible. Let's start. You please speak and we'll understand what you want to say.
Yeah, actually, I would like to answer that like effective reading leads to effective leadership, because a person should be.
No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Voice is cracking a lot, ma'am. Voice is cracking a lot. Let's take.
Oh my
I'll come back to you. Let's give 5 minutes more, because maybe the network comes up properly. I'll come back to you, ma'am. I'll come back to you.
Yes.
Ma'am, Anupam, ma'am, we'll come up to you. We'll talk about what is your personal experience with reading, ma'am, because you have so vast experience. You have worked with so many institutions. Please.
So reading, I feel, as I told you, reading is the basic. It can be reading for pleasure, it can be reading for learning. Whatever reading it is, it has to be reading with understanding. And this is something which is the core of any learning. We were talking, I was listening to Anju ma'am also. Ma'am, we are working for a curriculum called MBS, that is Mind, Body, Soul curriculum, wherein see, think of any concept, any subject, be it mathematics, we give them the mind concept, that is the intellect part of it, maybe questions and basics of it, body and activity. And when it comes to soul, we give them a story. Necessarily, we teach them a story with every concept related to that concept. So, right since the very beginning, we bring them into that nuances of reading. The kind of projects we give them. I have a wide, real vast library. I've got more than 10,000 books, real books. I mean, when we talk of books, we talk of books. For any prizes or anything, we give them books. For anything, हमारे birthdays पे we make it compulsory that the child comes up with a 25 rupees wala book and puts it in the class library. So whenever they are, we make it a point that reading is an important aspect for classes up to 1, 2, 3. Till they are able to classes till 2, I would say. The librarian would they necessarily have a library period, at least 2 periods a week, and the librarian would read it out to them, any book, and then she would question them. When they grow, the projects would be such you have to bring out, say, uh, probably even for SO, when we subject enrichment activities, when we do, we give them the project between 1950 to 1970. Indian writer, basically writing about child labor or women, whatever topic. So they have to hunt through a lot of stories, and then they have to create a book of their own based on that theme. That may be a complete class project. So reading, I feel, is the most essential part of it.
That's great, ma'am. So I think ma'am has spoke about that. Uh, and Suchitra ma'am will come up to you now because as I'll tell it, introduce it to everyone that we are all from education field, and we have, because it is the internet sort of thing, and today children, they don't take up dictionary. What they do is they see everything on the Google. You get everything on the Google. As well as this pandemic has again done this, that children do not want to use the books. They want to be on the internet, either on the laptop or on the mobile, and they do want to do everything learning. Even we were saying them that don't give them mobiles, but right now we are saying them to give all these accessories, mobiles and laptops, so that children can learn. So because we have invited you here to speak on this, how can your club one BR help us? Because you have just heard from last half an hour that we have a problem. I even said this, that we have this problem, that if we are saying that teachers to do this thing, that children should read, have them story telling times and all the periods and all, but they're not very sincere. As well as after some time they stop that. So what is the mechanism of your club one BR, or whatever you told me that you have that freedom app, of course, that is free of cost for all the schools, that how is this mechanism that should work with the school, with the principals, with the teachers, as well as with the parents also? Over to you.
Thank you, Chandok sir. I was listening to what everyone shared about reading, and I was making note of some of the points that they mentioned. So I just want to briefly recapture the points that where Abhishek sir said that it's very important that they should have a curated and age appropriate reading material, because it's necessary that they understand what they read and they're able to somewhere connect with what they are reading. Anju ma'am was talking about how it's so important in the early years. and the data, especially like I do want to share this piece of data that came from a study that the World Bank and the United Nations conducted together, where they identified that I mean, this was obviously a global study, but the numbers for India were that in urban areas, in private English medium schools, 55% of children in class 10 cannot read at even a class 5 reading level. They cannot read, like, and as you rightly put, sir, a lot of the times the parents think that just because their children can talk very fluently, or they can mug up something, they do this recitation in school, you by heart the poem and then you just go there and recite it on the stage, and the parents are very happy because they feel that, oh, my child is doing so well. But the fact is that it's just something that they have memorized. They don't know what they are reciting. And Anupama ma'am also said about how they need to understand what they read, and we need data around all this. So the Freedom app is basically our way of addressing all these issues with one app. So as part of the Club 1BR program, so our aim is to reach 1 billion readers by the year 2025. That's the very ambitious target that we have set for ourselves, and we're trying to achieve this by reaching out to schools where we know that the schools are passionate about reading, the schools understand the value of reading. We at our company, we believe that reading is a life skill. It cannot be considered anything less than a life skill, and the English language is sort of a child's key to the rest of the world. It's their way of reaching out to the rest of the world, crossing all the language barriers and all that. So the Freedom app, what happens is the app is specifically for children between the ages of 3 to 12, because we believe that you need to catch them young when they can still be bribed slash threatened slash persuaded to do what parents and teachers would like them to do. They're still at that age where they will listen to a parental figure or a teacher more often than the parent. So what happens is we have a variety of stories across a variety of genres. There are stories on science, there are stories on maths, and all these stories are mapped to grade levels. So when a child downloads the app and they specify that they are at this grade level, they see stories specific to their age level, and they have about 18 topics to choose from. So as a parent, or even the child themselves, they can choose what they want to read about. Maybe the child just loves nature, or maybe the child loves reading about history. So there are a variety of topics that they get to choose from. And the best part is that both on the app and from our end, we can share data on how much reading the child has actually done. We share data with the schools in the program that your school, so many children have downloaded the app. These are the number of, so the app has about 2,500 stories are there on the app currently. We have stories from Amar Chitra Katha, we have stories from HarperCollins and Penguins and a few leading publishers. And 90% of the stories are set in an Indian background and an Indian atmosphere, so that the children can relate to it. As a colleague of mine likes to say, we spend a lot of time reading Enid Blyton's, until date we don't know what a crumpet or a spoon looks like. We have no idea what root beer or ginger ale is. We've just heard of it and we have made our own versions of what we think it is. But the stories on the app are about samosas and bondas and jalebis. So, the children can immediately connect to it. And we also have the option of audio stories and audio visual stories, because children, each child learns in their own way. Not every child reads by, learns by reading. Some of them get attracted towards it through stories. And we also do storytelling sessions, so that today's children, I feel, haven't got that golden opportunity of sitting at their grandparents' feet and listening to their grandparents tell stories from mythology and narrate stories of their own childhood. So they've sort of not understood what a story actually is. To them, a story is a chapter in the textbook. So this is our attempt to introduce them to the world of reading through stories and through the app. So yeah.
Main concern
Very
is,
good.
Suchitra ma'am, the main
Thank you,
concern
ma'am.
is that can we check the teachers also that they are getting it done? or the parents can check. Most important thing, कहते तो हम लोग सब कुछ है
Absolutely.
उनको, और तो
Yes,
हमारा
sir.
मुंह इधर हुआ तो वो गायब हो गए, सारा काम बंद हो गया. तो you told us that there is certain mechanism that when they'll read the number
Yes,
of,
sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir. So we do share a school report with every school. So it clearly shows them, at a school level how much reading is happening, at a grade level how much reading is happening. So that sort of, also maps back to what the teacher is doing, because when a particular grade is doing better than the others, or when a particular grade is lagging back behind the others, it is a data backed surefire way of identifying that this teacher is doing particularly well at encouraging the children to read, or this teacher probably needs more support with encouraging the children to read. In fact, we also do run workshops to teach the teachers how they can use the app. So the app can be used in an online classroom as well. It has been created with that use in mind. So we train the teachers on how they can use this in their classrooms, and what are some activities that they can do around the books in the classroom to ensure that the children understand and are engaged with the stories and with the reading.
that's great. That's great. So that means there are all types of stories, fiction, non-fiction, any type of stories which the children interest have, and as well as the teachers can check out, as well as the parents can check out that how much reading they have done. Because the whenever you are giving something to the kid at home, also the parents are giving it. So say, हाँ पढ़ लिया मैंने, देख लिया. But here you can check it out. So smart your app is. The advancement thing is that there the teacher as well as the parent can check out. So you are lying, तुम झूठ बोल रहे हो, तुमने नहीं पढ़ा है, तुमने तो सिर्फ 5 मिनट पढ़ा है, and you are saying that you have read it for 30 minutes. How can you read this much story in 5 minutes? Don't fool us. So there the child also says that this artificial intelligence has come into that. You can check it out. So we cannot do all these things. Children are smarter.
Sir, I want to mention at this point that our product team is so smart, they've built it into the app itself. We have a sort of we've tried to gamify the whole concept of reading. So every time a child finishes a book, they get a certain number of points. And at the end of every story, there is a short quiz to assess whether the child has actually understood the story that they have just read. So, the quiz will have questions around like vocabulary concepts, grammar concepts. There'll be one question saying what is the message of the story, and the child cannot answer it correctly unless and until they have actually understood the story. So the two things that happen with it is that the app has a preset amount of time that it takes for a child of that grade to complete the story. So if the child tries these kind of tactics where they've just gone next and said finish story, the app will tell them, sorry, you have not finished, please go back, read the story again, otherwise you don't get the points for finishing the story and you can't get to the quiz. And they get bonus points for completing the quiz as well. So we've sort of built that into the app.
That's good. That's great. And it is a mechanism that where the teachers or the parent don't have to check. You will be the child will be caught over there. Very smart. And I think this is what you call artificial intelligence, which you have added, and that is a uniqueness. Because let me tell all of you that when we talk about any topic, we look into that what the things the 21st century things are over there available, which can be helpful. So no, when internet is being used, your technology is being used. I just said that children use it, and there are so many things on internet that may be good things and bad things also. So we have to take the good things from that and leave back out the, because when the child will be busy up with all the things, with the school, with the reading and everything, he won't get time any for anything. Or that dad is saying na khali man shaitan ka ghar, to jab uske paas sara time kaam hoga and reading and everything enjoying, so that thing will, as well as when we say that reading will be there, critical thinking will be there. He himself will be able to judge that this is right and this is wrong. I have to do this right thing. I don't have to do this wrong thing, because अगर मैं गलत करूंगा तो मेरे मम्मा पापा क्या सोचेंगे मेरे बारे में. So that reputation as well as the coordination with the parents is very important as a friend, as a company. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sujitra ma'am. And we just came to know much about this app, which is very useful. Already I have to started using in my school now. Next, we'll come up to the next round, and a very short round with 1 minute or 2 minutes answer. 1 minute. I am so sorry, because the things, it is very so interesting topic. Everybody wants to talk about that. So we cannot keep it very, very long. Coming up to Abhishek sir, we are coming up to you again. Sir, what are the major issues affecting reading program in school? We have just talked about reading programs we have, but there is not the cooperation of the parents or the teachers or the students or the other, stakeholders. Please.
Sir, I think a lot of people bring a top-down approach to implementing things as management. Na? We think, "Bhai, humne bola to bas it should be done." And there are challenges when teachers don't implement it. Actually, I think it is important that you have to get buy-ins from your teachers. You have to make them believe that this is important. That is one important aspect. That if they understand the benefit, because all teachers want good for the children. I mean, absolutely, no doubt in that. And if they believe that, and you're able to put across the point very clearly, 95% of them would look to implement it. There is no doubt in that. So challenges come when, when we plan to do, we want to have reading. We want to have good reading structure, a system in the school. But if we don't provide alignment to the overall goal, it becomes a problem. Example, let me say suppose you say we want to have good reading, but you don't provide a fixed time. What will happen? You don't provide resources, or maybe you don't provide appropriate training to the teachers. You rightly said, not everybody has joined this profession out of choice. Maybe they had no choice, but they joined. But it's not. But now they want to do well in this. That is also there. But they need guidance. There are a lot of schools where if the teachers are not given proper guidance, teachers are not trained properly, then it is going to be difficult for them to, encourage the kids to do that. Getting that content which is appropriate to the age. It is a big challenge for people to find which books are right for those things. So now, at least those things are improving. I would say there are a lot of companies which have come up, which are giving age appropriate content. As ma'am was speaking about, I think club. What is the name of the company, ma'am? I think you said Stones to Milestones. I think, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
So that is one thing is there. Then there's a Reading X. There's a program which is world across it is doing. RAS Plus is there. Almost all of these are now new ways are coming up where as educators, we are having opportunity to make the best use of technology and without losing the human touch. So after the pandemic, one big thing that is going to come up is blended learning, where we will see all teachers using the best of technology to do things which can be done by technology, and shift the focus of teachers to what is their job. That is to have the best classroom interaction for children. If you are able to do that, have collaborative work in the classroom and make children think, other thing technology is there to support, whether assignments, reading, and other things which can be done by the technology. So as we move forward, if these things are in place, aligned well, I think it will be a successful program. Like DEAR, drop everything and read. That is a very good program. A lot of schools have been doing that. One of the best ideas I heard from Anupama ma'am, she's not here, but reading kitty. That is one I will always remember in my life.
She has lost the connection and she's not able to rejoin. She's also messaging me.
That is a brilliant idea, I would say. It can be done like that. And
best idea she has given for that new idea is that reading kitty. Reading kitty is also a very good thing.
That is a brilliant idea, I would say.
Brilliant idea.
Like this, see, any program you want to implement in any school, you have to provide all the support that is required, whether manpower support, time, structural support. When you say structural, there's a fixed time allotted for teachers to do that, because no school teachers are free. They already have so many works to do. And as a principal or administrator, you don't provide a fixed time for it, to kabhi nahi hone wala hai. You have to give that. And then they will be able to do it also. So like those things, if you do, I think it will be not only reading or any initiative you take will become successful. Otherwise, management talks, nothing gets happened. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right. You're talking about the practical approach के पास वो meetings होती है, बात होती है, बात होने तक 2-4 दिन गर्म रहती है, ऐसे hot news होती है, हर जगह news होती है, और 4 दिन के बाद सब ठप हो जाता है. Everything is being winded up. But this thing has to be carried forward by us. And apps like Club One BR or this Freedom app, they are very helpful. Practically speaking, I also went into things in very detail that how it has been helpful, because I am also in education field from last 25 years. We see that whatever we are saying to the teachers, they are listening at that time. After some time, when you talk to them, so we did that, but now we are not doing this and that. I mean, they are putting the blame to each other.
Correct.
So here, if the mechanism is there, that everything is being, mechanism, if you feed up, any principal comes or goes, that mechanism is inside the school. Many schools we have seen that.
Correct.
The system is there. What you call system is there. It is not, there is no hassle in the school without a principal even, or even the principal changes.
I'll just add one thing, sir. I'll just
Yes, sir.
interestingly, I mean, this week itself, I think 2 days, previous 2 days, I've had demo of 2 of these programs which I named. One is Reading X, one is this RISE Plus, is another one program which is there. And maybe I'll talk to ma'am and get this also, because I think now technology is there, which is going to be of great help to us. We cannot get children away from mobile phones. That is the future. Let us understand it. So let's try to see the time they spend on the mobile, if it can be used for better things. Like gamified education is there, at least where they will have interest. In higher classes, you go, like example, there's a company called Educational Initiatives, program called MindSpark. Many of us have heard that. So there also there's a competition among students to score well, do well. As technology, we have to now start to extract, as you said, the best part of those things. And दिमाग खाली नहीं रहेगा ना सर, तो bad things के लिए we will not have time.
Exactly.
Time is spent on the good things. You won't have time to do for the bad things.
Exactly. Critical think also increases, sir. Children also come to know at the small. बच्चे नहीं होते हैं, हर एज पे बड़े हैं वो. They know what is right and what is wrong. But the thing is, when critical thinking is over there, they are being given time by the parents, especially with a, as a friend, not as a parent. As well as these things are over there, the child will always grow. When I came into connection with Club 1 BR, I mean, I just heard, because we have so many people coming to our offices and talking to us, or on the phone, or through the mails, they're talking to us, this product we have, this thing we have, this thing we have. But they didn't came to me. But in fact, when I was searching that, when you're talking about reading, there are many apps, this and that, I felt personally that when I had a word with the with ma'am also, and the seniors also, more seniors also, what actually this is, because we are misguided sometimes. There are many things, but दिखाने के और को, और कहते हैं ना हाथी के दांत दिखाने के और खाने के कुछ और. But when I went into the depth of all these things, I came to know this is so good. It's helping out, that when you're putting into mechanism, putting up the periods, the reading times are over there. 2,000 to 2,500 plus stories are, this audio and audiovisual stories are over there. Every types of stories are just not compulsion that you people have to read this story and come tomorrow because I have to report it to the principal. It's not like that. This thing is very important. As well as I was being told that, I think Suchitra ma'am and all told me that there are assignments also on that. That when the answers will be asked from you, will not be able to answer, because if you have not read the story, you won't be able to answer. At the very same time, the best and the most important thing is the meter. वो बेटा मीटर लगाओ, जितना बोलोगे, जितना रीड करोगे, उतना ही हमको पता चल जाएगा तुमने क्या किया. You won't be able to fool us. This is the best thing. बाकी सारे चीजें तो सब कुछ दे रहे हैं. I also went into the many of the things, but वो सबसे बड़ी चीज आई पकड़ी कि जो पकड़ ले रहा है कि बेटा आपने पढ़ा कितना, ना पेरेंट्स को बेवकूफ बना पाओगे बेटा, ना टीचर्स को और प्रिंसिपल को बना पाओगे. At the very same time, we had to keep up some programs for the teachers also, that अगर आपने बचपन से शुरू से अगर आपने नहीं पढ़ा है, रीडिंग की हैबिट नहीं रही है, तो अब तो आप कम से कम रीडिंग की हैबिट करनी चाहिए. A principal told that वो हमारे, when we used to study, our English teacher used to start up with the story, and at the climax, the teacher used to stop. Ma'am, what happened after this? Okay, we'll tell you tomorrow when the period will be there. So it's just like TV serials. तो वो घर के अंदर जाना, बच्चे ने पूछना, ओके मम्मा क्या हो सकता है, भैया क्या हो सकता है, स्टोरी हुई थी. So that interest comes into. This is happening with the students also, and some personal experience of the principals with their kids even they told कि जब हमने ऐसा किया तो उससे ये हुआ कि बच्चे को इंटरेस्ट आने लगा. 4 दिन के बाद बोला कि नहीं. Yet someone told कि okay, we said that we will read this story for you, and when the climax was nearby, or some 3/4 of the story was being done, okay, the 1/4 rest story you will study, because 3/4 story सुना के 75% को इंटरेस्ट आ गया बच्चे के अंदर कि स्टोरी पूरी अब सुनना चाहिए कि क्या हुआ बाद. You will come with this. So somewhere you have to start up with the students. It is not like that I've given this story, you will have to read. अगर तुम नहीं पढ़ोगे तो पकड़े जाओगे. So the interest has also to be created among the students this way or that way, and same with the teachers. If teachers don't have interest with them, then the children won't have. But again, it is, we know very well, the kids can change everyone. They can change their parents also at this age. We cannot change. They themselves cannot change. they go back home and say, no, mom, no, dad, it's not like this. You can't say like this. This ma'am is right or sir is right. Principal ma'am is right. Principal sir is right. You should not say like this because we are cultured people. Okay, but I will get changed. We change. At being an educationist, we ourselves change because our kid guide us at this age also. Being so young, also they guide us. So it is just like this. When reading habits will be there, teachers will also improve as well as the students will also improve. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Anju ma'am, within a minute, we'd like to add because already we shortage of time.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I would absolutely say whatever Abhishek sir said was so valid, because I think most of the points would have been almost like similar on that vein. One point that I would like to add on to, like beyond teaching, is that the family members, I mean, they have to take the onus of responsibility, because most of the time what happens, children might be encouraged in school. They are spending only 6-7 hours, but yes, they can pick up the habit. But I personally feel that if your family members are into reading and they spend time, some time, maybe just 30 minutes before hitting the bed, if they are taking the time to read something interesting and children see their parents reading, I think they pick up that habit. They are inspired to read also. What happens most of the times, I get such a common refrain from a lot of parents, oh, our kids are not reading because they themselves are on the phone most of the time, or they are busy watching some series on OTT platforms. So when you have things like that working in your house, you're like making them easy prey to those temptations, because that's, children of today are for instant gratification. So don't have the patience for the static word. So I think if you want to be a role model, please start reading on your own. Second, one more point that I would say is that most of the time we see that a lot of rural schools in the rural setups, or maybe, disadvantaged communities, they do not have the kind of environment which can supplement the school initiatives, even if you're doing it. So we have to find ways whereby even in the school, they get that hand-holding where at least that continues for some time. I think a lot of kids can be benefited from that. And one very strong thing that I said earlier, but I still feel very strongly about, is the teachers. They need to know, I mean, when you hire the teachers for the lower classes, the pre-primary section, they have to be the best in your school. Because if your foundation is good, I'm sure your entire pedestal of this entire education system becomes better, more robust. So they need to know their understanding of alphabet, their phonics, their, the sound and mapping of the sound with the verb. If they do not know that, how do we expect them to kind of like, inculcate that habit? We had excellent teachers. We saw our parents who were like always wanting us to read. And I think we picked it up from there. And one thing I must commend Suchitra, like Amma Chitra Katha has been my all-time favorite. And I always tell all my kids, you read whatever, but you must read every book in the Amma Chitra Katha. So it is something that every teacher in India, I think, should encourage. Thank you, sir.
That's great, ma'am. That's great, ma'am. Shija ma'am, coming up to you because your connectivity was a problem. Now I think we'll be able to hear you. Please,
I think I'm audible.
Yeah, perfectly audible now, ma'am. Now we like to have your views upon the reading, ma'am. Please let us know.
Yes, sir. Actually, reading, I was thinking that we all have heard Francis Bacon telling that reading makes a man perfect. But actually, I wanted to rephrase it by telling that effective leading makes an effective leader. Because every leader should be a positive thinker or a right thinker, innovative thinker. So this innovation, this thinking habit, creativity, everything can be seeded from reading. Right reading, as Anju ma'am, Abhishek sir, and Suchitra, I personally know that product, and Freedom app is used by my son also.
Okay.
So there I can see that the children and their creativity, their thoughts, their writing skills, reading skills, everything comes up there. So the same creativity can be boosted in everybody. Now we have adopted design thinking. So design thinking adoption in the school needs a lot of reading, history of that and the culture of that, everything to be read. So without reading, there is nothing to be innovative, nothing to create, nothing to introduce new. But a leader should always be passionate to do that. So a reader must be a good reader. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you told that it's a coincidence that you're already using their app, that Freedom app, I suppose you're also reading.
Yeah,
so what difference do you feel when you are implying it in your school as well as with your kid also?
The difference, and I don't find much difference actually, because I try the product in my child as a first trial, and then I introduced in the children. But the only problem what I have seen is nowadays, as we all said, the digital reading is more. So many parents are worried on their eyesight and problems. So that is why it's a bit reduced nowadays. But we wanted to introduce or give more and more of books. So real-time books, because the pandemic period is pressurizing them through
Actually,
that.
the ma'am, the problem is that uh, both the ways children, they don't want to read books, they don't want to shuffle the pages and read, and the very second
Yeah.
time the parents don't want to spend money on the books. This is also very
And
important. This
yeah,
is
the
more important.
automated
Anju ma'am,
reading.
I think Anju ma'am
Sir,
wants to say something
yeah,
on this.
yeah. Sir, I'd like to, surprise you with the data that says that the present generation is reading far more than any generation before that. You know that? They
They
are
are
reading
fast.
so much.
Yeah.
They are reading so much. I personally know of the kids who read books within 2 days' time, and they have such a beautiful
Yes, yes.
collection. So they are reading a lot. I think most of them are reading. If you, because a lot of parents are very conscious parents, they're aware parents, and the generation who wants to see that their children are like, growing up with the competencies and the skills that perhaps they could not inculcate within themselves. So the data proves us all wrong, perhaps, that yes, there are a lot of kids who are reading pretty much in the present times.
Exactly.
For sure,
And
ma'am,
the
you are.
reading
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
yes, reading is actually something which can create empathy in every person, because we don't know how the other person is feeling, how another person is thinking. All these
Yeah.
kind of ideas can be created by reading. So a leader must be a reader because of developing creativity, innovation, empathy, all these qualities which a leader must have can be inculcated only through reading. So reading makes a perfect leader.
That's great, ma'am. And what I also feel is that now kids don't listen much. You can't pressurize them as we were being pressurized. We are still pressurized. We can't speak, boldly with our parents also. But they speak with us like they are our friends. They are our parents. And that is your. But the thing is, our aim is that this reading habit should come into the child, whichever way the child wants, because the scenario has changed. In our time, when I was studying around 2 years back, I did my 12th in 1990. So now that time and this time, there's a hell lot of difference. It isn't over there, but you have to change. You know that if you're not changing, if you're not keeping your school, your environment, and everything according to the the present century, so you won't be able to survive. So here the thing is that this way or that way, either they are reading books or they want to read it online. Reading practice should be there. I even see in my school also, as well as with my kids also, that he's all the time with the laptop. There is eyesight problem, whatever it can be. But when he's studying with that, he's reading over there. His mental level is increasing. They do not want to pick up the books. Okay, right. You don't want to pick up the books. Even the parents, वो कहते हैं यार इतनी किताबें महंगी लेके आते हैं. A middle class parent says हम इतनी books लेके इतनी महंगी लेके आते हैं, उसके बाद हम reading books कहाँ से लाते हैं? We can't get it with us. And the child at the very same time, when they are getting so many books on the online only, because they have to restrain that when we are studying, whatever is needed on online, on the laptop or mobile, spend that time. Rest you study up with the books. When you want to come up with the reading, you can come up with little books also. The rest you can read from these apps also. So here, when we are coming up with 21st century or present scenario, when of course with the pandemic, it is a very big challenge. I personally feel at my home. My daughter is elder; she is doing a graduation honors, English honors. She also does all her work on laptop. My son always also on the laptop. If you say him to just, he's in grade 8. If you say him to pick up your books and study, he won't study from that. He has everything. Google Classroom. Even the schools have inculcated all those things. Google Classroom and everything. Said he says, Papa, everything is on my Google Classroom. It's just like a library. Everything is on over there. How can I study everything from my books? So here, this way or that way, that the problem is that right now we are not very pretty sure that the pandemic will be over. So whichever way the children are ready to have the reading habits, we are up with this. And Suchitra ma'am, we'll have your last view that to wind up with the session. That how do you say that? How do you give the best wishes to the school that how it is helpful and it won't restrain us the eyesight problem and anything the kids?
So I completely understand Shija ma'am's point of view, because we have also heard it from quite a few schools saying that the parents, as a school, we are very interested in giving the app to the children, and we can see the benefit of the app, but the parents don't want to adopt it because today's parents have more ways of getting information than our parents did or my parents did perhaps. And we have just been told that screen time is bad, but it's not like not all screen time is bad. It's like just because it said screen, not every screen time is bad. So when we talk about the app also, we tend to say that it's a productive screen time app. Your child is going to spend some time on a screen whether you like it or not, but instead of spending some time on YouTube, your child could rather spend some time here. And the app can tell the parent how much time the child has spent on the app. And the app is compatible with a laptop or with a bigger screen, so you have a way of logging into the app through a web browser as well. So if the parent is not comfortable handing a tablet or a mobile to the child, we say, what, put it on the laptop, you sit with the child and you also read. So then it's kind of within your control. So as part of the Club 1BR program, if schools ask for it, we do conduct workshop for parents also to kind of one is educate them on why it is necessary for their children to develop reading skills, and kind of share a few tips on how they can inculcate reading skills in their children, and also tell them how they can use the Freedom app in such a way that the child is not spending too much time on the screen, but also getting the benefit of reading and getting into the the idea is not that the child will read on the app all the time. The idea is that the child will fall in love with reading through the app and go on to read physical books as well. So there are certain stories on the app where there is only an excerpt of the story, and the child has said, if you want to know more about the story, then this is the book that this story is from, or this is the book that this is from, and you can go and read further there. So we have sort of like put in that portion into this thing. We also do workshop for teachers to kind of help them deal with the parents queries or parents concerns when they come up, because we do have when we work with the schools, we have teachers coming to us and saying that we would like, especially when we share the reading report, we have a monthly leaderboard that goes up where we rank the schools in each of the regions who've done really well with inculcating reading in the school. So as soon as the reports go out, a lot of the principals or teachers come back to us and say that oh, we didn't realize that the children were reading so less, or this was not happening. So now we have tried to convince the parents, but the parents have come back and said that we don't want the child to spend so much time on the phone. As it is, we have struggled to get the phone back from the child. We don't want to give it back in their hands. So what do we do? So we do help them with tips and tricks on how you can speak to the parents, how you can make this an easier experience for the parent as well as the child. So yeah.
That's great. That means we always say that today a reader will always be a reader, and when he will be a reader, he will become a leader. And at the very same time, when the habit of reading will come from the primary classes, pre-primary classes, of course, it will turn into the shape of books also, along with the online reading also. Thank you so much, Suchitra ma'am, for coming up over here and giving us knowledge about this. And I'm
My
very
pleasure,
thankful
sir.
to all the principals, because there were technical glitches. Two of the principals were able to join, and they were not able to rejoin even, that we know. Thank you so much, Anju ma'am, Abhishek sir, Seja ma'am, and of course, ma'am is not there, Amita ma'am, Anita ma'am, and as well as Anupama ma'am. Thanks to them also when they will see this session. That we are
Thank
very
you, sir.
thankful. You have spent your time, so much time, and hope to see you again. And
Thank you.
I hope we have all learned from each other. The best part of the day was that this reading kitty.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
that was the new thing which came up in
Even
this
the
session.
dear period.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. That's okay, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
sir,
you so much.
one
Thank you.
request, if
Thank
you
you,
could
Chandok.
share the numbers of all, so that in case we need to connect with them, we can connect with them.
I'm in that, ma'am. Whenever you need that, I'll be sending the numbers also, and we'll
Thanks.
get connected. We will also
Yeah.
come up in other sessions also. Again, we'll meet each other for sure.
Pleasure would be ours.
For sure.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.
God
Thank
bless
you.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much, sir. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am. Anju, ma'am.
Thank
Seja,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.